Digital twins for industrial supply chains. 4 petaliters for predictable ADAS logistics, in the past, was known as 3 petaliters. It was a humdrum business of hauling goods from one destination to another. Predictable ETA, expected time of arrival, was always the raison d'etre for supply chains. However, ADAS were often missed due to external macro factors, such as adverse weather, and internal weaknesses in the industry, such as tenuous coordination between partners and entities. 4 petaliters changes the paradigm with industrial practices that achieve predictable ADAS. An entire generation of technology companies have launched innovations, digital twins, sensors for tracking operations, and machine learning to manage supply chains to achieve targeted ADAS. The dire need for visibility in chaotic environments over the last 5 years, aggravation caused by external exigencies such as catastrophic weather, geopolitical conflicts, public health crises, transportation accidents, labor strife, and congestion at ocean ports has resulted in high delivery costs and chronic delays, leading to missed business opportunities and customer dissatisfaction. Source: Accenture. COVID-19 ruptured the relative calm of supply chains. Post-COVID, the need to adapt with shorter time lags is acute, as turbulence and disruptions routinely rock supply chains. Spot rates for shipping consume over 5 times, while shipping reliability is known to have dropped from 80% in 2019 to 30% post-COVID. The inventory-to-sales ratio dropped precipitously during COVID-19, from a peak of 1.70 at the beginning of 2020 to a low of 1.2. Renault is a typical company that experienced a massive drop in sales of thousands of cars as the supply of integrated chips dropped precipitously. Renault has taken drastic measures to mitigate such risks, collaborating with Google to build a digital twin of its supply chain with its Supply Chain Pulse product. Matching demand and supply chains had little visibility into their operations, so they did not have much leeway to take preemptive action to maintain an even flow of goods and services. The end of COVID-19 only brought a new set of challenges. To cope with the trade-offs of reliability, quality, and cost, a distributed supply chain of local, regional, and international sources of supply has emerged. Companies need data to make decisions on how to route traffic through each of these channels. Direct-to-consumer e-commerce has made matching demand and supply more complex. Products are increasingly customized for smaller market segments and distributed through broader channels. A third of customers also expect same-day delivery. Forecasting demand for more segments and distribution channels requires more sophisticated analytical methods and quantitative and qualitative data. Real-time tracking is also needed to meet the expected delivery times. 4 petaliters prompt action to avoid delays. Fourth-party logistics, 4PL, is a supply chain services provider that manages the design, build, run, measurement, and orchestration of all or part of an end-to-end logistics network for a fee. It coordinates logistics operations via internal and/or external parties, delivering visibility, management control, and optimization through an integrated technology platform. Gartner, Market Guide for Fourth-Party Logistics, 4PL. 4PL has advanced with the infusion of technologies such as the Internet of Things, IoT, to capture data in real time with granular details of operations. Digital twins virtually display the big picture of end-to-end supply chain flows. Artificial intelligence parses the data with multiple coefficients to simulate various scenarios so decision-makers can quickly evaluate their options. This portfolio of technologies arms 4 petaliters companies to create and deliver new services to their customers. As a result, fourth-party logistics, 4PL, growth has increased by 47% during the past 2 years, according to estimates by Gartner. Communication for collaborative decision-making among partners was challenging, particularly with distant partners often moving across different geographies. Persistent communication tags hindered collaboration and decision-making. Expanded choices in communications coverage has expanded with additional communication choices. Partners from multiple geographies, including remote regions, can communicate with low-orbit satellites. Additionally, mesh networks interconnect the assets on supply chain networks for data transfers and communications with ad hoc networks where traditional networks don't reach. Management services for the supply chain. 4PL supply chains provide distinctive value by providing management services to balance demand and supply. They use the large volumes of data generated by supply chains to assess demand and supply status, spot unexpected surges in demand, and identify potential supply shortfalls. Inventory management to avoid stock outs resulting in customer frustration and excess inventory when supply exceeds demand, causing losses or significant benefits of 4 petaliters. In today's environment, forecasting based on AI models is more precise than traditional time series or regression models. The granular data received from the Internet of Things helps identify processes that can be streamlined to remove performance barriers. End-to-end monitoring of interconnected processes and flows of material and goods across them helps isolate the ones acting as impediments to efficiency gains. Performance monitoring across partners helps spot capacity shortages or suboptimal investments that hinder productivity gains. Supply chain management examines last-mile transportation and its synchronization with long-haul, shop floor capacity to meet demand, and warehouses and distribution centers capacity to meet consumer demand. Digital twins for managing complex supply chains. Digital twins, virtual replicas of all supply chain elements end-to-end, have become the linchpin of managing complex supply chains. They help digest large volumes of data from the Internet of Things and other sources by displaying them visually to delineate decision choices intuitively. Simulations of the decision choices with a variety of parameters highlight the trade-offs. In practice, a digital supply chain replica provides an end-to-end representation of the complex real-world system that connects its component entities from suppliers, warehouses, and distribution centers to products and customers. By embedding AI in simulation scenarios, digital twins can help companies improve the efficiency of their supply chains across a broad swath of functional areas and analyze trade-offs between cost, service levels, and emissions. Specific examples of such applications include consolidating shipments in distribution centers, optimizing freight transportation, testing warehouse layouts, adjusting goods rows and routing to align with demand, and supporting predictive maintenance programs. Unlocking the potential of digital twins in supply chains. https://sloanreview.mid.edu/article/unlocking the potential of digital twins in supply chains. 3/8 January 2025. The case study of Mars Wrigley, Nasdaq Trace. WWY. GA is illustrative of a company that upgraded its supply chain to meet today's fluid market demands. Mars Wrigley is a privately held company, owned by the Mars family, making the family one of the wealthiest in the U.S. Mars manufactures and sells confectionaries, pet care, and other products, including M&M, Snickers, the Mars Bar, Twix, Skittles, Whiskas pet food, and Wrigley chewing gum. The company has 135 factories in 68 countries. Source: Hoover's Company Profiles. Mars Wrigley chose supply chain planning to balance demand and supply as its key goal. It chose Kinaxis for both its demand and supply planning. Following the COVID crisis and the geopolitical tremors, Mars subsequently recognized the need for agility and resilience. It selected Era Analytics for the analysis of its inventory needs and associated truck capacity to keep costs low for the short term. Era updates the information every day and determines whether the stocks in each distribution center are adequate. As a result, truck utilization increased by 10%. Source: Forbes magazine, June 20, 2023.